What I'll be doing today is quite extreme. I don't recommend that you follow exactly what I'm doing, but if you're in similar circumstances, just follow your own gut instinct, because that's what I'm doing. I've been contemplating on and off and on and off, and I'm going to go ahead with it. So I'm on the decking today, right in front of our pergola, and what we have growing on this pergola is a Clematis Montana grandiflora. So this is a really big, vigorous climber, and it's quite an early flowering as well. It flowers in month of May, and it has a really nice, simple flower shape, but it's the scent of it that is just amazing. And that scent just really fills this area when it's in full bloom. But if you've seen my previous videos, you might remember that we had issue with this pergola, and that goes back to the earlier in the season where I noticed that one of the main structural timbers had massively rotted part to it, and then after further investigation, it actually turned out there's even more wood rot in other areas of that same timber as well, and that had sort of affected other pieces of timbers that were joined together. And we were due to replace that timber, then sourcing that timber, timber that would, in the shape and size, would match the vertical post that we have here, and overall having it in the length that we needed, and then getting it physically to our yard. That took a little bit of time because the suppliers didn't have it in stock, and then physically going and collecting it, that took a little bit longer. And then the more we looked at it and said, no, we actually need more help as well to be able to do it. Just the two of us wouldn't be enough. And so that timber has still not been replaced yet. But I want to prepare the spot. But luckily we've come to an agreement with a carpenter who's a friend of ours actually, and he also happened to build a roof for our house and the garage as well. He has agreed to come and help us with changing that structural timber, and well, the original timber is down and it's sort of just being held together on a promise of another piece of wood. But we do have to sort of take a level down. We'll be a little bit dismantling the original structure, but I was just looking at the branch work that's on the pergola, and obviously there's so much new growth now on it as well after the summer season. And I'm just worried that the overall weight, especially when we go and start taking the structure apart a bit, that the overall weight of the branch work and the leaves is just going to be too great, and it's going to damage what's there at the moment. And everything is attached to the side of the house wall and then the vertical posts. So I've been sort of just contemplating, this job a little bit, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to actually take all of it down. I'm not down to the ground. Don't shout at me yet about that, but I'm going to go all the ways back until the sort of trellised wall. So there's still going to be branch work left from the main stems coming up from the ground, but anything that's actually physically resting on the top timber work or the framework, I'm going to cut that down. And why I'm quite happy to actually get this job done now is because we've managed to finish sort of cutting back our hornbeam hedges as well. And there's so much branch work and material from those hedges. So if I'm cutting this down, and then everything can be chipped up together with the big wood chipper rather than the small electric one, but the big petrol engine one for the big compost space. So at least then if this is done, we'll gather all the material together and that could be all chipped up in one go. Not saying it can be done today, because I'm not sure what the weather is going to allow us to do, because the weather has been terrible. We've had no heat wave whatsoever, nothing like UK's getting it. So I'm quite jealous of them for that. And it's been raining a lot of wind, a lot of rain. And the wind actually has started to knock off some of the dessert apples off the apple tree as well. So I'm a little bit worried about that. And seeing a wasp flying around me means they'll be soon looking out to start eating those apples. So they'll be harvested in, I'd say, probably even in the next week or two. But I am prepared with my trusty Makita hedge trimmer, just hoping that having a bit of a mechanical work would ease all the branch work what's there. But I also have my big Fiskars loppers and secateurs, because I know there is some of the branches are tied on with jute ties, so this will help it. And why I've been a little bit worried about cutting down these branches is not because of losing this amazing growth that's on it, losing all this cover that's on it. I'm not, because it's such a vigorous grower of a clematis that in a couple of years it will fully cover the top of the pergola again. So that is not the reason. The reason is because this clematis belongs to the flowering group of number 1, so which means it's an early flowering variety, and they're the varieties you're not supposed to cut down, or if you're pruning it, you should do it right after flowering. So really, I should have done it in month of June. And that's just down to that it flowers on the new wood, or in case you'd damage it too much and it's not coming back to you. But basically, yeah, no, it's mainly to do really about the flowering side of it, that you're going to lose out on the blooms next year. So, and then I just thought, if I was not doing this video, or that I didn't put all my gardening adventures out there on YouTube, I'd still be cutting it down. And I've done a hard prune on this plant before, different times of the year. So I'm still going to do it. It serves a greater good. The pergola needs to be sorted. So yeah, let's get to this cutting. So this is the aftermath of it. It is absolutely crazy. There is such a volume of foliage there. And I was expecting it, and especially worst was the very end corner, because this was the newest growth, so that was thinnest, and I was sort of trying to tie them in on those linear pieces of timber anyway, and then the foliage was going over them. So it was a little bit easier to take them down, but up there it was all very crisscrossy. And the amount of the seed heads from the spent flowers that are flying around, I have bits of clematis in areas I should not have any plant material. But I won't be able to take this now to the chopper or the mulcher. This has to be for another day because it's quite late in the evening and I'm tired. I'm just sick of it now. But yeah, the issue started from the tops of these, where there was another big piece of timber actually sitting on top of the posts, the vertical posts. And you'll see now how they are all connected to the vertical posts, but because the tips of those posts are also slightly damaged, we have to reduce the height of it, and the new posts then will go actually horizontally across that span all the ways. So let's hope this now will work for us. A bit stuck everywhere. On the trellis wall side of it, I didn't actually want to cut down the clematis as much as I did, but once I was pushing it out over the edge from the inside, obviously the weight of it was pulling a lot of the branch work off the trellis, and I should have anticipated it. But I think I can still fix it. Obviously I've taken off the sort of loose new foliage, I just had to, but the main branch work I can physically just tie them onto the trellis, and that would just automatically really bring the foliage back against the trellis and start building that new green wall again. But yeah, otherwise, at least this big job is done. My hubby just came home, actually. He said he wants to throw all that foliage away because apparently it's really going to be raining heavily tonight. So that's great. We'll actually get that job done as well. He'll bring the tractor lawnmower and trailer and we'll get it all out of the way. But overall, yeah, I'm absolutely delighted. At least I'm prepped now for that job. And then another evening, I was actually able to come to the rose garden and weed the place and deadhead it. And I'm just so amazed how quickly, obviously a lot of the roses have opened again, but there's so many new white gladioli flower heads. And it's beautiful, and it's actually looking really tidy. So I'm starting to feel a little bit more cheerful again about this space as it is here. And yeah, it just looks cleaner, tidier, refreshed. And the white gladioli are looking stunning. I'm really, really liking them. And yeah, and I just never noticed how many new flower spikes it was putting out. Because obviously it's going to, what it's basically doing is it's naturalizing itself. So it's spreading, so there's more new plants popping up all the time. But yeah, they look really, really nice at the moment in here. And what else? Oh, and I want to show you again another evening. I was harvesting some potatoes, and That bucket of potatoes now I harvested was one large 30-litre tub, but it had a mix, and they were 2 new varieties for me to grow. So there was one seed potato of Celebration and one seed potato of Irish Gold in that large bucket. And there was lovely harvest out of it. They're both second-early potato varieties, and they actually had more scab on them than the Charlottes would have had, so that was a little bit of downside. The Celebration even kept its colour a bit on the skin of it. As flavour or taste goes, they weren't anything that exciting or special. Red Duke of York is the absolute favourite at the moment, and then still Charlottes were nice. Maybe the Celebration was even a little bit nicer than the Irish Gold, which I was a little bit disappointed about, because obviously Irish Gold, it would have been a lovely potato to have. But otherwise, yeah, very happy with the harvest of that. And then also tomatoes, they are starting to ripen, and I was able to harvest a lot of the Sweet Million, so that's the red cherry variety, and then Sun Gold Select, which is the yellow cherry variety, and also a couple of Irish Leprechaun, so they are heritage Irish, just big tomatoes. Well, they're sort of like bigger than a salad tomato. But there is a bit of late blight or like grey mould signs on plants as well. So I was really carefully trying to remove all of them, and I'm disposing of those straight away. I try to do that with my bare hands, so I can wash the hands thoroughly after, or if I've used gloves, then I actually put those gloves into washing machine as well. So I try not to cross-contaminate anything. So we'll get the lawnmower, we'll get the trailer, and we'll get that foliage out of the way as well. And just another productive few hours. And yeah, we'll see what the weather will bring, how much more gardening can I do this weekend.